Decided it was time once again for another DVD movie review. And yes, for those of you who are noticing, yes, there is a stain on my shirt. It's late at night when I record a lot of these, so by the end of the day, I just don't really give a shit. And I kind of think I'm funnier at the end of the day because I just don't give a shit. Anyway, that being said, what movie did I decide to choose this time around? I went with Michael Bay's Transformers. And you can see I got it in the super cool Transforming Optimus Prime case. So that being said, I guess I should start off by saying I'm a big fan of the Transformers. Anybody who knows me knows I've been involved and interested in the Transformers since day one, really, since they hit the market. I religiously buy the comics. I religiously watch the television series. Some I like better than others, some not necessarily as much as others, but I still watch them. I watch the movies. I buy the figures. So, maybe not every figure, but I buy the ones I like, certainly. That being said, I have a lot of time and interest invested in Transformers overall. So, once Michael Bay was announced to be making this movie, I know a lot of the fans in general saw things from the movie, pictures, clips, designs for the characters, and they were very upset and very angry at what they saw. I mean, I saw memes that basically just said that Michael Bay destroyed my childhood was one of the ones that was always funny. So here's my thing on the movie. I went into the movie and I realized that when a property that's been around for as long as Transformers has been around has once it's been around for a long time and they make it into a franchise for a film, I realize this as a fan, that it's probably not going to be exactly what the original property was like. Very few movies that are made from existing franchises actually end up being 100% what the original vision was, what the vision that I was sold on, or anybody else who starts off the franchise was sold on. So I think I knew going into that, and I think I understand that when you make a major motion picture like this, you want it to not just appeal to the people who have been fans of the franchise for a long time, but you want it to appeal to as wide of a fan base as possible. You want to bring in new fans as well as keep the old ones. Hopefully, that's what you're trying to do. So, I think I knew going into this that, obviously the characters were going to look a little different. Obviously the backstory was going to be a little different. Obviously there was going to be changes from what I had known, from what people refer to as the Generation 1 cartoon. And change isn't always bad. It's not. I mean, you look at Beast Wars. Beast Wars was probably one of the best Transformers series ever made in terms of storytelling and in terms of character development. It was truly one of those series that actually maybe outshines the original source material. So, change isn't always necessarily bad. So, going into Michael Bay's Transformers, I was willing to accept and understand and live with the fact that it would be different from what we had previously seen in the franchise. And I wasn't unhappy with that. I wasn't pissed off that Optimus Prime had flames on his truck mode or anything like that. A lot of fans were. A lot of fans were very upset about that. And in watching the film, and I can still admit, even now, watching the film many years later after it's been released, I don't hate Michael Bay's Transformers. It obviously suffers from a lot of the same things Michael Bay films does. If you love explosions, he's got explosions. Damn near everything explodes. Big explosions, big scenes, big action. Certainly that's all there. The plus side, I think certain things were done very well. I think the relationship between Sam Witwicky and Bumblebee was actually probably the core strength of what made this movie actually work. At the heart of the original Transformers, Bumblebee and Spike became a very synonymous duo. They became very attached, became very core audience for people to enjoy. These two characters and them being so well connected and related, and to see hey, what guy does not want a car that transforms into a giant fucking robot? I mean, I think that appealed to the imagination of every child from the 80s. Like, hey, yes, I found an alien life form that turns into a fucking robot. I think we all wanted that. Shit, 45, I still want that. I still hope every day my car changes into a giant fucking robot. So that being said, I think they managed to capture that really well. I know there was a lot of people who shit on the comedy in the film, and it may be a little over the top, robots peeing on people, the parents being a little over the top cheesy and ridiculous, but by the same token, I still think it works. I still think it works as a film overall. I think overall it's a pretty good story. Maybe the downside of this film is some poor character development. I realize that they try to develop some characters, and other characters really don't get too much development at all. Jazz is a great example. You did what you could with him, obviously. You were never going to make him Scatman Crothers, so you made him a little more urban, let's say. I don't know how you want to put that. Maybe some people look at it as a little racist. I think it was just they tried to make him cool. I think that's what they tried to do. And the character, and again, spoilers, even though the movie's been out many years, but the character, of course, dies at the end of it. And it was a little weird because, other Transformers are easily fixed and repaired. Bumblebee gets his legs fucking blown off, but he still survived. They fixed him. Yet, the film suffers from a lot of weird issues in terms of the Decepticon characters are extremely poorly developed, if at all. I mean, maybe not even at all. I think Starscream is probably the most developed character in the film, and even at that, he's really not that developed. Megatron is a pale comparison to Megatron of previous versions. Let's just say that. I mean, it wasn't a bad character, but he's barely in the film until the end of the movie. He gets his ass whipped, and he looks nothing like the original character. And trust me, I get that. We're really never gonna get a main Megatron that just turns into a gun again. That time has passed. It really is. But I think a tank would have been a good exception for Megatron. Just saying. My personal feelings on that. But I don't feel like the Decepticon characters were all that well developed. I think there were a lot of human characters that were unneeded. As a good example, and I bring this up all the time, part of the plot revolves around a computer hack and analysts figuring this out. Now, we have the one girl with the New Zealand accent, and trust me, I can't remember half of these characters' names because they were that memorable. She discovers this. She has two people that help her out. Then she has to go to a fourth guy that has to help interpret this out. Was there really a need for 4 computer hacker characters in this film? I mean, I don't think so. One would have sufficed, realistically. I think the last guy they got probably would have been perfectly fine. Then we've also got weird issues with other characters, too. I mean, the Sector 7 characters. There were at least 2 different guys in charge of Sector 7. Did we need to? Was it really necessary? Sam's best friend. Again, characters that weren't really necessary. The boyfriend. None of this really were really needed characters. They didn't add anything to the plot. They were just there to... I don't even know what they were there for. I mean, to just pad out the film and make us understand that this wasn't just a movie about giant robots. And realistically, I think that may have been better focus as if the movie was just about giant robots. But anyway, it is what it is, and you do what you do with it, and that's fine. That being said, I don't exactly hate Transformers, the Transformers Michael Bay film. I think it's a pretty good movie. I think I enjoy watching it from time to time. It has its issues. Certainly, people who are longtime fans probably have more issues with it than anything else. But I definitely did not hate the film. I still enjoy watching it from time to time, even with the comedy in it that's a little weird and a little quirky, especially with the parents and all. I still think it's a fun movie. I think it's a fun movie that did exactly what it was designed to do. It was designed to evoke emotions from the original franchise and bring those people who have been fans of it for a long time in, and it was designed to bring in new fans of the franchise as well. And I think it does a pretty good job at doing that. I don't know exactly why people crap on it. Overall, I think it's an entertaining film. It's basically your summer popcorn flick where if you just shut your brain off and go in and watch it, you probably have a good time watching it. So, I will be doing some of the other films that follow the sequels, and trust me, the reviews for those are going to be a lot more scathing because the franchise just declines as it goes along. And while I am fairly happy with this movie and I enjoy it, I also realize it has its issues, and those issues only get worse with each successive sequel. So while this review may have been entertaining, it was mostly positive. The succeeding films will not be as happy. I will tell you now that in each installment for the Transformer films, these reviews are going to get a little bit more brutal, a little bit more harsh. So, that's what we got for now. All right? Thanks much.